everyone. Can you see me? Can you see me, mother? It's dark. Everyone around me is a cyclone ranger. Everyone around me is a total stranger. Everyone. I'm turning Japanese. I'm turning Japanese. I really think so. I don't. Why am I singing that? I don't know. It is. Well, it's about 5:45 in the morning, and I'm just getting the cows in. And I'm not turning Japanese. I'm just turning a bit bonkers. Right. So I'm just going to get the cows in. They are just coming up now. Look. I'm sorry, the light on this is going to be quite gloomy. I'm going to try and lighten it a little bit when I edit it so that it doesn't look quite so dark. But at the moment, it is pretty dark out here. And they're just coming in, look. Come on. Come on then, girls. Come on. They know it's milking time, so they're actually coming up before I even come down to get them. If I was 10 minutes later, they'd be actually up. It's quite a nice sight, really, isn't it? Look at this. It's like a little train of cows. Notice how they're all walking in the same spot. They've got the whole field to go across, yet they're all walking in a line. And if we look, you'll see a cow track down there. Oh, yawn, I'm tired. Right. Turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so. Da, 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 da. That was the first single I ever bought in, I think, 1979. That was the Vapors, Turning Japanese, and that was the Funky Farmer version. Right, so I'm just getting the cows up. Oh, we're in that time of year now where I can feel winter is coming. It's, just turn this off a minute and let these cows through, be a bit quieter. You probably notice it yourself if you get up early. Oh, it wasn't that long ago that when I got up, it was light, and now we're entering in that phase where it's getting dawns a lot later, and the cows are coming up later. So when I was getting the cows in the summer, they wouldn't be coming up like this because they would still think it's early. But no, sorry, let's get that right. The other way around, got it wrong. When I was getting them in early in the summer, because it came light earlier in the morning, it was light at, I don't know, 4:30 or something like that. The cows would actually be waiting at the gate when I came out to get the cows in for milking, because they thought, hang on a minute, it's time to get up. But the thing is now, because it's getting darker and darker later and later, they're getting up later, and so once it gets dark, they'll probably be still out in the field in a week or two. So look at this bunch here. Look, I've messed up. Right. Because I've sat here in the lap room, they don't want to come past me. Let's get out. Come on in. Come on. Come on. Look, your mates are up there. Look, you better hurry up. You're late. Come on. Come on. Oh, flipping it. I messed up here. Come on. Oh. Sorry about that. Bit of camera shake there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look how brown our fields are, though. Look at this. We're still struggling with the drought here. This is, look at it. What is it? It's supposed to be grazing. Go on. Go on. Go on. So, I thought I'd just do this little video today. I was just reflecting on the summer we've had and what we're doing with the silage, because we're getting more and more into a situation now where there is absolutely no hope of making silage now, and what we need on the farm and where we're going in this winter. I say I'm worried, but I'm concerned about where we're at now, because I'm feeding bales of silage now, between 2 and 3 bales a day. I have been now for quite a few weeks. Sorry about the dark again. As you might well know, I bought in a lot of silage and bought a lot of silage in, and I'll tell you how much I spent in a bit, but it's quite frightening really. Look at these lovely girls going on up. I need to make this video so that I can look at it when I'm 80 and I'm not able to get out here and do it. Or, you know, maybe the cows aren't here when I'm 80, who knows. These are the sort of reminder videos of what your life was like, or what your grandfather's life is like after he's dead. Anyway, yeah, the drought. So we're still struggling really for grazing. I cannot believe the summer we've had. Anyone who's not farming, what an incredibly lovely summer it's been, isn't it? If you're just someone who's living the life, if you're retired or something like that, it's been a wonderful summer. Every day you could get up and do something, couldn't you? You could go on holiday and think, well, it's not going to rain. You can plan a barbecue in 3 weeks' time. It's not going to rain. And that's great, that really is great, but from the farming point of view, from our farm, it's been a blooming nightmare, because we just have not had the grass growth. So we had, oh excuse me, we had some heavy rain about 2 weeks ago, real heavy rain, for about a day. And I thought to myself, fantastic, here we go. I'm going to just stop a minute because they're going to bunch up by the gate there. I did think, fantastic, here we go, we're going to be alright now. But the grass did green up then, and it did start to get going. But what's happened since then is stayed dry since then again, and the grass is sort of like starting to wilt back again. I noticed on a field over there, which I'm thinking of trying to graze, it's shrunk back to nothing again. And I'm in a situation now where I am really struggling to find enough grass for them to graze. And what I'm doing is I'm actually restricting them on the bit we've got. And the bit we've got is bugger all. Anyway, I'm going to get them on in now. I'll show you the rest. I just realised that. Right. Just realised one of them's already trying to head towards the ring feeder now. So I'm gonna, because they're supposed to be going to the parlour, I'm gonna head them off. Wait! I bet those ring feeders are empty anyway. Maybe come and look for your breakfast now. I can serve that later. Come on. Right, let's get out and have a look. Come on. Oh, there's still a bit in here. Go on. Go on, you can finish that off after milking. Go on. Go on. This is where we play Ring a Ring of Roses around the feeder. Go on. Look, go on. Shh. Come on. That's typical. Look, they go one way and then they go the other. Go on. Go on. Go on. So there's not much left in there. They might pick over that. These are all empty, I'm sure. Right. And there's the scraps in there, look. Do the same in that one. Right, so what I will be doing later in this video is filling that with silage. So what I'm doing now is I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, really, because I'm trying to reduce the amount of grazing they need in the daytime by supplementing it with bales. But because of that, I'm using up my bales. But if I don't do that, they'll whip through all the grass I've got too quickly, and then there won't be anything for them to put them onto. Because the thing is, you do need to give the cows something fresh every day. Even if it's only a little bit, I need to give them something, because otherwise they're just going to wander out in a field and bawl. I don't want to just be giving them silage bales, because it's just not great if you do that. So it's kind of, It's a tricky one, really. I'm going to put these in now, and then I'll take you down and show you. I'll show you the grazing. Let's have a look in a minute. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. That sounds like a chicken. Back. I'm back. Oh, I've been on my own too long today. I am going back down. I've taken the cows and did a bit of milking. My brother's just come in and taken over the milking. So I'm going down now to give the cows their little bit of grass for today. You can see it's a lot lighter now, can't you? It's about 7:15 now. We're in a field, so this is interesting. This season has just gone. I've talked about it a long time through the summer. It's quite funny, really, because every time I've sort of mentioned the drought or the situation, I've always been in the back of my mind, well, it's okay because it's going to break at some point and we'll pull back on later in the year. And I think I was thinking that, well, I was thinking that in May when we did a really crappy first cut. And then I was thinking it in sort of July when we did that awful second cut where we hardly put anything in the clamp, mostly dust. But I did thankfully buy in a lot of silage bales. I think we started looking, the first lot we probably had in about June. And thank God we did. I am really lucky that I did think to do that, because now we're at the end of August and we just have no chance of recovery. I'll just spin round. This is the fields that the cattle are going over. You can see where we're at now. It's still green as brown as anything. So this is the worst drought I've ever experienced here. What's really odd is the up the road though, sort of like maybe 50 miles away, absolutely fine. So I know large parts of the country are affected by drought, large parts of it aren't, and it's kind of you know, just the way it is, I suppose. But what's unusual in this part of the West Country, it's normally a very wet area, so we don't normally have to worry about rainfall. In fact, I don't know whether I can find the picture on my computer, but I hope I can. It was just before I started doing videos. Well, I had actually started doing videos then, but it was 2012. But I didn't flip in video it. I'm absolutely gutted I didn't, because this field we're in now was underwater in July. And I'm just going to show you. It's the fields that normally flood in the winter. But this field here, this is where the cows are going to be. This field here flooded, and we had round bales in it at the time, and all the field got covered, all the bales were up to their sort of further height in water. So yeah, so that was an extreme year the other way, you know, from rain, from sun drought now to rain. That was only what was that, 13 years ago. And it's very easy to forget how, it's very easy when you know, a human being, that you forget quite quickly how things can change from rain to drought. In the period of mankind, that's nothing, is it? 13 years. So we're all on about global warming, but I don't think it's gone that quick. Although it might be climate change, you don't know. But I think, you know, we've had droughts in the past. If this becomes every year, then we can say that it's climate change, can't we? But if this is just this year and it goes back to normal next year, I would be on the side of this is another 76 for me. Right, let's have a look. We are out in what I've got left down here. Look, they strip it bare, don't they? Look at this. And those heifers are balling over there, but I think they're just balling because they can hear my lamb rover. Right, let's just turn this off and we'll have a look. Right, let's take that down. So, I'm strip grazing that. But look what I'm strip grazing. Let's just get over and have a look. You know, we'll just I try and do this one-handed. This is not a one-handed job. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on. All I got to do is get the pin out to get the tension off the wire. Sorry, you saw a bit of sky there. There we go. Right, let's have a look. Okay, let me just show you what I'm strip grazing the cows. So this is the field we made hay in back in July. I think it was, yeah, it was July. This is the recovery in that in 2 months really. Look at it. You can still probably pick up some hay that's, well, it's dead grass anyway. Look. So we've got patchy regrowth. That bit of rain we had brought us a bit of regrowth, but since then, look, I mean, you've got some bits of grass that have done well. Look at that. Look, if it was all like that height, it'd be alright. But spinning around, this is what you've got over the whole farm. You've got this sort of patchy regrowth because we just haven't had the rain. If you look at growing grass, think of it like a cake mix. Okay, so you got a bowl of cake mix, and so the grass is the ingredients and the soil is the ingredients. Okay, so if you got your bowl of cake mix, you got your flour, or your flour and your sugar and your milk. Maybe a little bit of milk. But the one thing you need is water to get that mix right. And this is the same with growing grass in the field. You need to have the water as the added ingredient to the fertilizer, the soil, the actual plant that's growing. And you know what it's like if you make a cake, if you don't have enough water, you can't make a cake. If you put too much water in it, it becomes a sloppy mess. And it's the same with growing grass. Too much water, this is just a disaster because it'll just flood and you can't really, the grass will rot underneath. Not enough water, the grass doesn't grow. And so think of my field like the cake mix. Not enough water in your cake mix, you can't make a cake. Well, I can't grow grass in this field now because of the lack of rain. It doesn't matter how much fertilizer you put on it, if you haven't got the water to make it grow, you've got no chance. Right, I'm going to move a fence here. We are going to put some round bales out in a bit, but also see that over there? That is a wild plum tree. Can't really see from this distance. That's a wild plum tree which I left in that hedge when I laid it 30 years ago. So we're going to go and pick a wild plum out of the hedge, and then we're going to actually put some bales out. Right, I just got to, believe it or not, this is a pathetic piece of grass. I'm splitting it into 2 days. 2 days. Because I want to slow the cows down. That is really, well, they gobble through that in a flipping afternoon. But they're going to have that split for 2 days. Right, that's that fence moved. Bit poxy, but sorry girls, that's all you're getting. But also, I picked this up. Look at this. Hay bob time from earlier in the year. The only thing I think about that though, the other half of that is out there somewhere. I picked it up over there, I couldn't see the other bit. It's either in a bale or in a hedge or still out there somewhere. So got a bit of junk, a bit of scrap for the scrap man there. Right, let's go and have a plum. So I remember laying this hedge when Wonderwall by Oasis, or actually no, what was the guy who covered Oasis Wonderwall? I can't remember what his name was. You're my Wonderwall. That was in the charts when I laid this hedge. And that's how I date it, because I remember I used to bring the radio down with me, right? I'm parking right underneath. You're my Wonderwall. What year was that? About 95, something like that? Must have been something like that. Right, so we've got this hedge here. Oh, I parked a bit close. Let me just go around the other side. Oh yeah, the heifers the other side. They're not happy. Right, let me just climb up. Ooh. Right, this is a good thing about a Land Rover bonnet, is you can stand on it. And look at these beauties. Look at these. Can you see these little plums in this little plum tree? They might. Problem with these is because they're wild plums, not anything cultivated. They've got a high stone to plum ratio, so there's quite a big stone when you look at the size of the fruit, which is a shame, but they're really nice actually. They're really sweet. Right. Been a good year for fruit this year. A lot of fruit on the a lot of fruit on the hedges as well. Look, and it's early this year. The rose hips are here. Look at that. Cracking a lot of blackberries. Ate some of those the other day, and also the hawthorn berries are out red. It's a bit worrying because it's so early. You wonder whether it's going to be a hard winter. Right, I'm going to go on up. I'm going to go on up and put these. Oh, they're nasty, aren't they? I haven't got any more grass to give those heifers. They're ranging over a big area now. I'm just hoping they're all right. Yeah, well, let's drive on up a minute. No, let's stop because it's too distracting. I'm just going to park up here and then I'm going to put the bales out. I just want to talk to you a little bit about buying these bales in, because I can sort of fess up where we're at with it now we've done a sort of large purchase. So we've been buying bales of silage since I think June was when I first started looking, and I found them through Facebook Marketplace, through word of mouth and stuff, and we bought them off various people. Pretty good quality, most of it. One person I bought from, absolute rubbish. I've managed to feed it to some dry cows. I only bought 17 bales, so it wasn't the end of the world, but the quality was shocking. I opened the bales, admittedly you can't tell till you cut them open, but open the bales, they were fausty inside and pretty crappy. I'm not convinced they were last year's bales. They might have been 2023 bales, because I was sold them as 24 bales, but it was like, do you know what, I took them and then it's just like, I'm not going to have a fight over it. I'm just never going to go back there again. I can't find any 2025 bales around here. There's just nothing. No one's selling silage around here. There isn't any to sell. Most people have kept it for themselves, I think. Everything I found is 2024 bales, because last year was a really good year for silage. So if you remember, we had loads of grass, everyone else did, and now people are shifting it on, because I think probably if you're feeding for yourself and you've got a surplus now, you're thinking, do you know what, I'll keep the 25 bales for me, and 2024 bales can be sold, because you're always going to want to keep the best stuff for yourself, aren't you? So we bought in, I think, probably 300 bales, and then we bought in 50 hay bales. The prices varied all over the place from I think the lowest I paid was probably about 20 quid. The most I paid is 35, a bit more for the hay because I had that transported in. There is transport cost on top of that. I couldn't get all this stuff for myself. I haven't really got the trailers for it. Not really roadworthy. All right for running around the farm and short distance, but I'm not going to put loads of bales and drive miles on with them. Not worth the risk. And also our tractors aren't great, so I'm not going to risk that. So I've been paying someone to bring them in. Some of the stuff was delivered in by the people who sold it to me. So if you want to know what we spent, we've spent £10,000. That's not a great thing that's not a brag. That's just the reality of what we've had to do. We spent £10,000 buying in silage bales and hay. Now, I would add a caveat to that, is that if you look at the cost of the silage, 10 grand, if we'd made that ourselves, there would have been a cost involved with that anyway. So you could probably take 3 grand out of that, maybe a bit more, as a cost that we would have incurred anyway if we'd made the bales on the farm. Because normally we make about 300 bales on the farm. This year we've made 24 silage bales. That's all I've made, primarily because I've had to let the cows graze the fields that would have been silage. And also we tried putting that disastrous second cut into silage clamp, which was just a waste of time. Should have bailed it. I could have got bloody 10 bales out of it or something. Yeah, so there would have been a cost anyway if we in a normal year. So we can't say 10 grand is completely out of our pocket wasted, but so there's probably about a 7 grand gap there, which we, you know, has cost us dearly. Financially, that's a big issue for any farm, you know, and we're not a big farm, so the bigger the farm, the more the black hole you've got to fill. We're not like Rachel Reeves. I'm not going to tax you to death on that. I can't put my milk price up. What we've had to do is dip into our reserves, and so what we've done is we haven't got an overdraft. We've got money in the bank. We run a very boring, safe farm. You see people give me jip about the flipping, oh, you got old machinery and stuff. Well, I can have new machinery and I could be crapping myself this year because all the new machinery is there and I need the money for the bales. That's the reality of it. We run a safe farm. We're never going to make a load of money. We're never going to win awards for anything, but hopefully we'll still be here. Well, I've seen so many dips, so I'm rambling on now, ranting, but I am kind of like saying as it is. I've seen so many dips and troughs in farming in my time with the foot and mouth, BSE, milk price like that. I said probably why it keeps me, we play it safe. We've seen the milk price go like that. And so we cover our ass by trying to carry a surplus in the bank account. Now that's not easy, and really what I've done is subsidise the farm with my living standards, because I draw a very small wage on the farm, so does my brother. We don't take much at all. The wage is below the minimum national wage. I make up some money. I'm very lucky, my wife works, but also I make up some money with the YouTubing and stuff. You know, I sell calendars and things like that, so that brings me the income that I don't make on the farm. I could draw out a better wage off a farm, but there'd be nothing in the bank account. So what do? You just keep yourself to a minimum wage, don't you, or a trickle wage. I'm not moaning about that. I'm just saying as it is. That's the truth. But we run a safe farm, and I can ride this storm out. My biggest fear is, and I mean this sincerely, my biggest fear is other farmers, because not every farmer is in the luxury position of having some money in the bank, and it's going to be a very difficult time for people around the West Country, because it's going to be a bloody job to find any forage. I can tell you that now. It's going to be gone because everyone's in the same boat. But also financially, if you're already running on it a tight margin and you haven't got the luxury I've got of a bit of cash in the bank, you're going to be bloody struggling. You're going to really struggle this year, because financially it's going to hit you hard. And not everyone's got money in the bank, because the trouble is you could be hit by, you know, all sorts of different problems. You could have, you know, TB that could wipe your herd out, and then you haven't got the income coming in from your milk or your beef, you know, all sorts of issues. And the inheritance tax one that's coming up is probably going to be the biggest one that's going to knock farms like this on the head if you've got problems like this every year. So, yeah, I have said a little bit of a rant there. Not too much, hopefully. People do criticise me, or every year now and then an idiot criticises me about moaning, but I forgot to say it as it is. This year's bloody hard. I'm finding it hard. Mentally, it's very hard. I said I'm concerned. I am concerned because, and it does play on my mind what I'm doing with this, because I haven't got an issue with mental health, but it will drag you down, because I am sort of worrying about where we're going for the summer, for the winter. At the rate I'm feeding bales, I'm going to start eating into the pile we've got, which is reserved for winter. And looking at my maize crop, I'm going to need that. You know, we'll find bales from somewhere, and we'll just have to pay lots more if we run low or run out. But it does play on your mind, you know, trying to juggle all this and keep it going. Keep it worrying about how much I can give them there and what I got to put out for bales, and these heifers bawling over there thinking they haven't got enough food. What do? Do I feed them more over there, and then I'm really struggling with the pile? So yeah, mental health in farming, we've all got an issue with it, even if we don't admit it, because there'll be something playing on your mind. Any farm will, you know, and some people's pressures are more than others, and some people carry it and they don't show it, and that is the problem. They don't show it, and they don't speak out, and they don't ask for help, and sometimes it's too late. You've got to speak out. You've got to come up to someone and say, I need to have a chat. Can I have a chat? And also, not being funny, you've got to be prepared to say, I can't do this anymore. Sometimes I think you've got to be prepared to walk away from it and say, this doesn't work. That would be heartbreaking in this circumstance for me on the farm. It would break my heart to walk away from this place, and I'm not planning to do that. But for some people, that's what you've got to do. You've got to say this is too much and either sell up or leave the place you're renting and just go and work for someone else and just do, and not be ashamed of that either, because be honest, if you can make a living out of farming, you don't have to bloody win awards for your best cattle or anything. You've won. I'm getting a bit emotional now. You're a winner if you've made a living out of farming. I'll tell you what, you are a bloody winner if you've made a living out of farming, because it is a bloody hard job. Right, enough of that. Should we have some singing? Let's have some singing. Always look on the bright side of life. Da 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 da. Always look on the bright side of life. There is a bright side. I've got 2 great kids, lovely wife. I'm happy where I live. I got great friends. I tell you this every time, but it's true. I got great friends. I have a laugh with life. You got to, haven't you? Do you know some of the best things are not about spending money as well? The best times you can have just chatting around with people and having a bit of a laugh with them, isn't it? Right, I'm going to go out and put some bales out now. We'll have a look at those. Alright, crack on.